Hello, one and all. Let's take a moment to address something in which today's press is really suppressing a serious crime which is now becoming embedded in England and Great Britain in general, and something which is doing no justice to the argument of pro-EU or, well, it's just the Remain argument or mass immigration argument. And that's the relatively new topic to our culture of modern slavery. Now, when I was a kid, never heard of it. It was the sort of thing that you heard about in stories and learned in history classes. It's certainly not something that you would see advertised on TV and covered in the news every week. And when I say covered in the news, I don't mean by the news stations which should be saying it the loudest. They tend to cover it very few and far between. But it goes without saying this is a new phenomena in which a country that never practiced such a thing is now being afflicted by its sadistic properties. Now, all the other arguments aside, there's no way of knowing how many illegals we have in the country. But some estimations are going up to as many as 1 million. And this is recently, in the past few years, after Angela Merkel's deliberate seeking to destroy everyone's sovereignty and independence, as opposed to helping the countries in which were trying to escape, which travelled through many other democracies to reach the one in which I'm speaking of today, that travelled far and wide to gain access to a particular benefit system, which was not in every other safe country that they passed, breaking many EU and international laws in doing so, but somehow being allowed to get away with it. Whereas I'm pretty sure if I did it, I'd end up inside for a few weeks. But the UK government estimates there are tens of thousands of people in slavery in Britain today. I often work on building sites and there's posters, on a few sites here and there, and it says, "Are you aware of modern slavery? Look out for these signs, help these people." Our governments are highly aware of the amount of slavery that's going on and the problems that this mass immigration and illegal immigration is causing. Another estimation is only 1% of the enslaved ever get to see their enslaver face justice. In 2015, over 3,000 people, including nearly 1,000 children, were referred to British authorities as potential victims of slavery. And it goes without saying young children or women, especially young vulnerable women, will be targeted as easy prey and easy money. The government knew about these problems, setting up in 2009 the National Referral Mechanism, which didn't do a good enough job and still allowed for traffickers to get away with murder. So then in 2015 we had the Modern Slavery Act, making it even more difficult. But you can make these laws and acts all you like. Unless you're going to stand up on a podium and say to the government, "We're never going to be able to control this problem unless you control the immigration." All you're doing is turning up to work. You're not fixing anything. If you work in a city, you pass a type of slave every day. There are those that aren't allowed to leave their houses and those that are. Those that work on small sites or building sites that are very carefully supervised. And those that are kept in dungeons, used for very insidious, sadistic and selfish sexual means. Now this one issue alone puts in jeopardy the safety of our streets, our culture, children, the future, and it's just one element of the mass immigration problem, which is coming from all over the world. That one bad Eastern European habit could play such a massive role in the breakdown of our society. I would rather my country aided these countries in so much trouble through long-term benefit and advice, as opposed to just taking on bad habits without going through any of the necessary steps to avoid them. The mix of people we have is actually a wonderful thing, and people confuse what people like myself are actually trying to say. But there comes a point when there's far too much and it becomes uncomfortable, and it may be a selfish notion, but seeing what you knew break down isn't fair, and our government's responsibility is to protect us and our sovereignty, not entitle it to the crimes of communities that need our help. Never feel ashamed in protecting the identity in which you was born with. This is Mr. Heretic at Revelation Be Damned. Think for yourself.